Hello everyone, I am back with the second video in my Destash marathon series that I will be running all week. Today I have 4 lots available. There's quite a bit in each lot, so I may have to break this into 2 videos, but we'll see how we do. And what I have available is a mixed lot of what I started as having a shabby chic theme, and I was originally going to fill small padded flat rate envelopes full, and it got out of hand, and so instead of taking things out of the bag, I decided to make them medium flat rate boxes instead, and just start adding additional items to the medium flat rate boxes. So the boxes are jam-packed. As I said, there's quite a bit of items in each lot, and I may have to break it into 2 videos. So let's go ahead and get started with lot number 1. Okay, so for this lot, you will get some vintage musical sheets here. And this is dated 1949. So it looks like there's just a couple sheets in here. They have some nice aging. And this is a songbook, so more music sheets. And this one is dated, let's see if I can find a date. Okay, we have the copyright date here. If I'm right on my numerics, my Roman numerals rather, I think it's about 1940 something. So there's quite a bit left in here. And then I have this typewriting manual. And let me see if I can find a date on this one. 1916, 1917. So, and I believe all the pages are still in here. I don't believe I removed any. It's just been sitting in my stash, and I figured someone could use that. So you will also get a package of this airmail stationery tablet. It's not vintage from the wartime, but I believe it was from the 80s or 90s, possibly 90s. So it's unopened, so new old stock, so you will get that. I'm including some of those wonderful envelopes that I hauled not too long ago. They just have a great aging to them. There was room in the medium flat rate shirt box, so I just kept adding items until it was completely packed. Here is Typing for Accuracy, and this is dated 1945. We have some vintage stickers. They're all there except one. And then an assortment of different envelopes, note cards. The majority of these items are vintage. So there's a note card with the envelope, another envelope. Here is, I just opened this box here, and this is just gorgeous letter paper. And I've had it for so long, and I just thought I need to pass it along. So you can see I tried to stick with kind of a romantic shabby chic theme. Roses and pinks, light blues. And this is a nice little vintage card. And this one I absolutely love. So I tried to include the envelope with each of its cards or letter paper. Here is a vintage card that is just gorgeous. don't see a date right off, but I thought that kind of went with the theme. There's the envelope. It has some great aging on it. Another vintage note card. Some vintage letter paper. And then we get into some vintage greeting cards. This one has not even been used and it's still in the paper. So you will get that one. Okay, that one hasn't been used either. Oh, it looks like they were 10 cents back a long time ago. So that's definitely a lot cheaper than they are these days. Here's another card, birthday card. These are transfers. They're vintage. Here is a cute little cutout, and I don't recall if this is vintage. I believe it is, but I could be wrong. It looks like it's probably vintage. Okay, here's a tag that I made. Just kind of a shabby tag, and I distressed the edges with pink. You'll get an assortment of different ribbons and laces. These are flocked ribbon. Here's some seam binding. Okay, when I say these boxes are packed, they are extremely packed. Here's some wallpaper border. It's new old stock. It has not been opened. Here's some vintage ribbon. There's quite a bit of ribbon there. And here is a vintage muslin, I believe it's called, bag. And it has some nice aging on there. Then I believe every kit will get one of these. It's a cross stitch. I think it's a vintage I can't think of the name of it. You put it on your table. Placemat. So I believe all 4 kits get one of those. I have some vintage, these are really old handkerchiefs. Here's some cute fabric I thought went with the shabby theme. And a pink rose. Then we have some of those tea coasters, cloth tea coasters. Here is an adorable little lace cap. There is a piece of lace. Here's a little lace pocket. And then I believe each kit will get some of these hair ribbons. They were from the 1940s or 50s, if I'm not mistaken. They have some nice aging on them, but you can tell they are extremely old. So I believe each kit will get a couple of those. Here's some satin material. And then just an assortment of different materials. I tried to make the boxes somewhat similar, but they do have different items in each box. I believe the majority of these fabrics are vintage. And then I have this, it appears to be vintage. I did not measure, it's pretty big, but it is an unfinished quilt. And there was room in the box, so I thought I would throw that in. There's quite a bit you can share. You can do lots of projects with that. Then this box has some appliques, some cute ribbon, wide ribbon. Here is a brooch, some jewelry pieces, some buttons, it's a rhinestone pendant, more buttons. So you can see I tried to stick with light pinks, peaches, light blues, purples, those type of colors. Primarily. There will be other colors in here, but primarily that's what I tried to stick with. So here is a bag, another bag of assorted items. There's a vintage belt buckle. There's a little applique of a bird, or yes, a bird. Crocheted flower. There's some gold buttons, some paper clips, binders, little rose, more paper clips, and buttons. There is a vintage earring piece. And then these I've had forever, and I've wanted to do something with them, but they're vintage barrettes and they're adorable. So I believe every bag will get one of those, if I'm not mistaken. And then just an assortment of different beads, and I believe these are semi-precious gemstones, if I'm not mistaken. Vintage beads, glass beads. So if you make charms and bangles from your craft projects or your junk journals, then that's a nice selection of beads for that. So this is lot number 1. Okay, so lot number 2. In this lot, as I said, I tried to make them shabby chic, and then they just started morphing into different items and themes because I just had too much stuff to fit in the small flat rate bubble envelope. So I had to go to the medium flat rate shirt boxes. But this next lot is kind of shabby, and it kind of morphed into more of a Victorian type theme, I think. So here's what you'll get with this one. Okay, these are Victorian Valentine garland. This is dated 1989. This is just gorgeous. It's been sitting in my supply, and I just really hope that someone can use that. Then we have some labels here, and I believe I put some of these in each of the boxes. This top page here has some nice aging on some of them, but I thought they were really pretty and could be used for something. Here we have some of the vintage lace in this one. Here is some of the wallpaper. This one was in lot number 1 as well. It just was not, it was still in its packaging, so I did not want to open it. So that is what it looks like. All right, so this lot will include some transfers. And I don't know if these are vintage or not. Probably 90s, I guess. Okay, so you will get some of those nice aged envelopes. Here is a little memory book, and you can definitely use the cover for your craft projects or your journals, and then there's some sheets in here. So I thought those kind of went with the shabby kind of Victorian theme, so you'll get that. Here is Tokens of Love book, and I just thought the images were just beautiful. I'm not sure about a date on this one. I tried to find one quickly. 1990. So if you go by the 20-year rule, this is considered vintage. So there is that. Here is a vintage book, Love in Another Town. I thought that was appropriate if we're going for more of a kind of love theme here. Shabby Victorian Love. I don't see a date. Oh, 1995. So that just barely made vintage. So I thought that book was older than that. I might try to find something that's a little bit older to throw in. Here is a Webster's Dictionary. This one is looks extremely old. I don't see a date, but it has some very nice aging on the pages. So you'll get that. All right, so for the, there's just so much, I don't even know where to go here. Okay, here's another wallpaper border that you'll get. And let me go through the paper items. Here's a beautiful 1909 postcard. It's a greeting card. Get well. I am throwing in a scrap pack of some really pretty cardstock papers. So I'm trying to go pretty quickly, but also show you what you're getting. Here is a vintage card. No date, but I thought it kind of went with the theme. Here's another vintage card. It's an adorable little kitty. This is just a little bag. I thought it was, I think I received some swap items in it, and I just thought it was so pretty and I couldn't toss it, so it's going in this lot. Here's another one of those beautiful vintage cards. So I just love all of this stuff, but I don't, it's been sitting and I just would like for someone to enjoy it and create with it. So as you can see, I tried to include about the same paper items in each of the kits. There's a beautiful card. It's embossed. Some pink envelopes. And more of the papers that you'll get in the scrap pack. All right, now, oh, here's a few more die cuts. I don't know how old these are, but they're just gorgeous. This is actually extremely old. I believe early 1900s. You will get some postcards. I don't see a date, but they are vintage, and I believe they have to do with weddings. So there's a set of those. Here are a few lovebirds on heart. So if you're putting together a wedding or a scrapbook for something like that, then this would be a great selection of items. Here is one of those hat pins that Michael's was selling a long time ago. More ribbon. And there's quite a bit on there. Alright, so let's get into the fabrics. Here's some beautiful kind of mauve or rose color lace fabric. Some flowers. And here is some lace, more lace fabric. Okay, one of those placemats. Here's a handkerchief, vintage handkerchief. That shabby looking fabric with the scalloped edge. All right, here's a couple of the 1940s or 50s hair ribbons. Here is one of those lace caps. There's a doily or one of those coasters, cloth coasters. Here's that lace pocket. And then this lot also has an assortment, different items, some of that cute ribbon. And it's kind of stiff, so it would make some nice pockets if you sew. Some appliques, different little bits and pieces. This one's beautiful. Some flowers, some jewelry pieces. The beautiful rhinestone heart. It is a brooch. Okay, so we have some clip-on earrings. I'm not sure what these are, but I'm including those. Rhinestone buttons, some little buttons, some roses. More little appliques. I guess those are called appliques, I'm not sure. There's a little piece of, you can cut these apart and use them individually if you want. So that, I believe, actually I'm going to throw in, there's some more scrap pieces here. I'm just throwing them in because I think there's enough there they can be used with something. And I believe there's room in the box, so that will probably go in the box as well. So I think what I will do is go ahead and in the video here, this first video will be for lots 1 and 2, and then just stay tuned for the second video. These boxes are going to be, let's see here, $33 shipped. They are going in a completely packed medium flat rate shirt box. If you're interested, you can leave a comment below with which lot that you would like, along with your PayPal email address, and I will send an invoice. Please let me know if you have any questions or if you're interested. Thanks so much for viewing.